Before we begin, I just want to let you know that there aren't any spoilers for The War Within Alpha. This was recorded before it came out, and I honestly wasn't expecting it to come out so soon, but with that out of the way, enjoy the video. Azeroth is home to a variety of different races, and over the now almost 20 years of WoW's lifespan, we've learned the origins of many of them, and even some not from Azeroth. Of these races, few have left the impact that the Night Elves have had, with them even being comparable to the orcs and humans that started the franchise. For years now, we've known that the Night Elves evolved from the Dark Trolls that settled near the Well of Eternity, and based on everything we've learned since this was revealed, we've had no real reason to doubt this. That being said, I do have a question. Why do the Night Elves, who evolved from the Dark Trolls, look so much like the Dryads and the Keepers of the Grove, who they aren't related to? Well, I think I have an answer to this question. But to do this, we need to question everything that we think we know about the Well of Eternity. In case you don't know, or you need a refresher, since Chronicle, we've been told that the Well of Eternity was created when Aman'Thul, the head of the Titan Pantheon, ripped the most powerful old god, Y'Shaarj, from the planet. This created a crater that was filled by the lifeblood of Azeroth's world soul, causing the Titans to realize that the old gods were too deep into the earth to remove without hurting the planet. On the surface, the story seems fine enough. Well, except for one issue. That's not how that works. In the expansion Battle for Azeroth, we learned about a powerful new material known as Azerite, the blood of Azeroth. The planet releases Azerite whenever it gets injured, which in the case of Battle for Azeroth happened after the planet got stabbed at the end of Legion. You probably already see where I'm going with this, but in case you don't, I'll continue. During BFA, you may or may not have noticed that Azerite usually comes in two forms, a crystal or a liquid. Adding on to this, we learned in the book Before the Storm that... Alright, so, cutting myself off here for a second. Normally I'd provide an exact quote here, but I've misplaced my copy of Before the Storm, and this video's been delayed long enough. So, what we're gonna do instead is go with the Warcraft Wiki on this one. It credits Chapter 14 of Before the Storm as confirming that Azerite comes out of the earth as a liquid and solidifies when touched by the air. Back to the video. With this in mind, the story of the Well of Eternity's origin has a massive hole in it. If Azerite solidifies on the surface, the Well of Eternity would be a massive crystal formation, not a large whirlpool of energy-infused liquid. So, that begs the question. What actually created the Well of Eternity? In the Dragonflight patch, Guardians of the Dream, we can find a book called The Legend of Elune here that gives us a story that has some interesting similarities with the story of the Well's creation. For a brief summary, in this story it said that when the Titans went to Azeroth, the Titan Aenar planted a tree that was given to her by Elune called Elune here, believing that the influence of life would drive the darkness of the old gods away. This upset Aman'Thul, who accused her of infecting the world with uncontrolled chaos, resulting in him ripping the tree from the earth. Aenar then cried, with her tears falling into the crater before she realized that the roots of the tree remained, which she kept a secret from Aman'Thul. She then had the keeper Freya watch over the crater and the life there while the Titans fought the old gods. Years later, mysterious guardians arrived and dedicated their lives to protecting the roots. Right away, there are some major similarities with the story of the Well's creation, with the two biggest points being when it happened and Aman'Thul ripping something out of the planet. Now, if we suggested that this is the actual story of the Well's creation, with the one we know being a cover-up, it solves the issue we ran into with the Well's waters being the blood of Azeroth. Since Aenar's a Titan, her primary aspect is order. What do I mean, primary aspect? That's a topic for a completely different video. Regardless, my point is that since arcane is order magic, it stands to reason that her tears would likely be a strong source of arcane magic. Now, something to keep in mind is that if this is true, the Well's origin isn't the only Titan lie that's revealed by this story. The book also tells us that Elune here was a branch of Gah'nir, the Mother Tree. The same Gah'nir that we were told was planted by Freya in Legion, with us also being told that Freya shaped the Emerald Dream. It doesn't make any sense for Freya to plant Gah'nir, with Elune then getting a branch of this tree and gifting it to Aenar when Freya is a servant of Aenar. And since the story that Freya planted Gah'nir is tied to the same story of her shaping the Emerald Dream, the idea that Gah'nir predates the Titans' arrival in Azeroth calls this entire story into question. This isn't exactly groundbreaking information, though, given that many have already had doubts about this claim for a while now. That out of the way, the story did call attention to the mysterious guardians who came to protect the roots, and I believe that these guardians were the Dark Trolls. We don't really know a lot about the Dark Trolls, but from what we learned in Chronicles, these trolls separated themselves from the other troll tribes and connected with nature. Eventually, they made their way to the Well of Eternity, where they settled. Something of note is that it was there that they started worshipping Elune, with Chronicles saying that they believe she was bound to the well itself. If we again assume that the story of Elune here is actually the real origin of the Well of Eternity, this would easily work, since we know that Elune here's roots still remained at the bottom of the crater. This would explain why the Dark Trolls only began to worship Elune once they settled near the well, and why they thought she was bound to it. But that's not all, as we can take this one step further. If we connect the dots, we can use this to possibly explain why the Night Elves look like the Dryads and the Keepers of Cenarius. Essentially, the Dark Elves went to the Well of Eternity, and due to the roots of Elune here beneath it, they established a connection with Elune, who they worshipped as their goddess. Because of Elune's influence on the well, the Dark Trolls eventually evolved to resemble the humanoid features of the Dryads and the Keepers of the Grove, becoming Night Elves. This would also explain why we see a completely different transformation with the Grummels and Jinyu of Pandaria, who were evolved by the coalesced waters from the Well of Eternity in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. Since they only had the water from the Well of Eternity without any direct influence from Elune here's roots, their evolution from Trogs and Murlocs happened without any influence from or connection being formed with Elune. That being said, while Elune here's story does fit very well as being the true origin of the Well of Eternity, this does leave some unanswered questions, such as, if the well was created by Aman'Thul ripping out Elune here, what exactly happened to Yasharaj? Or, if Freya wasn't responsible for shaping the dream or planting Gahanir, where did they come from? Or even, if the well's waters are actually the tears of Aeonar from before the ordering of Azeroth, what does this tell us about Aeonar? Well, I don't know yet. Hopefully I get there before Blizz may or may not confirm this theory over the next 3 expansions, but only time will tell, since WoW's not the only series I'm making theories on, and I have a lot more WoW theories cooking before I even get to these questions. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one. See ya!